What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fab Freddie Fox, America's Big Brother, and we back with the Saturday Night Sit Down. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fab Freddie Fox, America's Big Brother, and we back with the Saturday Night Sit Down. Today, I got Brandon, Real DOSS, Docimo. What's going on, my man?
What up, my man, Freddie? It's good to see you again.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming on my show, man. Thank you so much.
Yep, of course.
I had to reach out to you because, you know what I'm saying, I know you've been doing the music thing, for quite some time now, probably I've known you for 5 years now?
At least.
At least when I first started the whole t-shirt thing, you and your group, you know what I'm saying, you was actually my first large, ongoing clients when it came to the shirts, man. So
People
I appreciate you guys,
man.
man.
Yeah, you already know, man.
Keep
it local.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. We came a long way, man. We've gone from, so we'll tap into that because we want to get off the rip. Because I remember when we first started, man, I was making the shirts with the name B Whitey, right?
Yes.
And now we've transitioned to Real DOSS, right?
Yeah, just DOSS.
Just DOSS?
The Instagram, I had to throw the real. DOSS wasn't available. It was taken. I was like, let me just throw real in there.
All right,
but
so
just DOSS. Yep.
So all right, so how we go from the transition from B Whitey to this, man? How we get there?
So B Whitey was just a nickname. Got in 8th grade. And it was just something that stuck with me, and I decided when I wanted to start taking music serious, this is what the people know me by, so I think it'll catch quicker. And it was cool, but as I grew up, I kind of started looking at it, a little. I felt like it was childish. It was a childish nickname. It was something that I kind of wanted to get rid of. I don't know, B Whitey. It just wasn't doing it for me. So DOSS was what they called me on the baseball field, actually, which stems from my last name, Docimo. It's spelled DOC, but if, I put it like that, it'd be Doc. That's what people would be pronouncing, so I just threw the 2 S's in. It kind of looks a little smoother. But B Whitey was just something that I just had to get rid of. A little childish, I think, and I think DOSS is just a little bit more professional, a little bit more mature. So that's what I'm rocking with now.
All right, awesome, man. Well, I know you've been doing a lot of music things and stuff like that. So, I wanted to reach out to you because, again, you out there doing what you love, man, living your dream, having fun with it and stuff. And the whole purpose of this, of what I do with my podcast, is I like to sit down with various individuals, man, and see what it takes to be a good person, what it takes to be a good man and growing up in their life, the different, challenges that we went through. Because I know for myself, like I always said this all the time, is that I struggled finding my way into manhood, trying to figure things out in yourself, and trying to, wonder what it is, and especially those who may or may not have, their dads in their life or real good, positive, real role models, will fall on a lot of ways. And hopefully doing this, we could help grab that younger generation, put them on the right path, and guide them into an easier transition when it comes to becoming a man, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So sitting down with everybody, like I always sit down and ask them, man, my very first question to you, man, in your mind, in your opinion, what do you think are some of the main characteristics or qualities that make up a good man or a good person?
It's all depending on that specific person, what they have going on in their lives. But just generic traits. I think dedication is a big one. Loyalty, but dedicate those two. You have to be. Here go my phone. Probably cracked it. Just got the iPhone 13. I'm good. I'm in the clear. But yeah, dedication. You got to be dedicated to your job to be successful, right? Your dream. If whether it's a job, whatever it is, whatever you're chasing, your family, your children. So I think dedication is a huge one. Obviously, you got to be driven as well. Sometimes we all get lazy, but if that's just something that lingers, it's going to be hard to, provide for your family if you want to be, a family man, a father. It's tough to, not be dedicated and driven when you have somebody to provide for. So I think, I'm sure you understand. I don't have kids yet, but I'm just driven because I know that I do want them in the future, and I want to set myself up to be successful, and then that'll, trickle down to my family. But those are definitely some key ones in my mind. That's how, I was raised, but everything, you got to be driven 100% with everything. My opinion. So
yeah, no, definitely. Like you said, about people getting lazy, man, and it's not that you know, people say they get lazy, they're just not motivated, you know, and not inspired, you know, and that's where it comes to. Because I know, and like I said, going through all these things and trying to find my way, that there was a lot of times too where I was just doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I didn't know what to do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I didn't know what my purpose was, where I needed to be at. So, you know, I tried to occupy my time with fillers. You know what I mean? Like video games or going out or, you know, all sorts of random things and stuff like that that really have no end to it.
Yeah.
You know, and part of that, yeah, and like you said that too, I think two of those things came to mind, like, you know, said about like having kids, because I know for myself, literally when I was 13 when I knew I wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
Like full wholeheartedly. My niece was born and I held her for the first time. And I was going through a lot of things because, you know, you're trying to find like unconditional love, what it means to somebody to love you and care for you. And I looked at her, and I was like, this is what love is. Like, this is just where it's at. So I knew, I was like, I need to be a dad. Yeah. You know, and then throughout the years and stuff like that, and then I was going up, you know, I started to think I couldn't have kids at one point. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I ain't had no accidents, no nothing like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I just started like, man, what if I can't have kids? And I think it was just perfect because it all goes down to everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely, I'm a huge believer in that. Yep.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, and like I met my wife in high school, right? And we didn't start dating in high school though, and I thank God that we didn't, because I wasn't mentally ready for that kind of relationship at that point in time.
Timing is everything as well.
Yeah, and as things go up, and now as I got older, I realized, you know what, I wasn't supposed to date. I need to go through all these things, and she's the one that gave me my kids, and that's my drive, my motivation, stuff like that. And what I need to, you know, look forward and be driven for them, you know. And all that comes to being like a really good father and being there for my kids, you know. Absolutely. So I know you say you ain't a dad just yet and stuff, but you know, with you and your dad, you know, what was your relationship with your dad like growing up?
I can't thank my dad enough. Like, I mean, I really like, it's hard to put into words like what my dad means to me. And I think growing up, I didn't really understand how much he was going to mean to me. But my dad was always there for me no matter what I needed. You know what I mean? I could always count on my dad. So I had a great relationship with my father. And honestly, some of those traits were passed down from him. So he's, you know, kind of taught me and molded me into the man I am today. So I'm super thankful because I know I have friends who, you know, not that they aren't great men as well, you know what I'm saying, but they were without a dad. And I could tell, you know, you could tell when you speak to them as, you know, a friend or a brother, there's absence there. And obviously having that father figure, I mean, usually is always a blessing. So, I mean, like I said, mine, I'm so appreciative of the relationship that I have with my father. So, you know, it's just amazing that I was able to have that love, you know what I'm saying, from my dad. And it was unconditional, I could tell from him. But at a young age, you know, it's just like, I'm like, you know, I don't want to be like this soft little, you know, the era that we grew up in. And, you know, I didn't want to like show all this love that I actually had from my dad until like I realized, you know, like, how could
it's
I?
okay to show that, man.
It is okay, and it's like, how could I not? Because all the things that I have now and all the positions that I'm in are, you know, hands down because of my father.
Yeah, and I know what you mean too. Like, 'cause as my closest friends, man, my best friends that I've been through, you know, thick and thin with and stuff. None of them dads were in their picture for one reason or another. You know, either they passed away too early, they was in jail, just walked away for whatever. So their dads wasn't in there. So I seen what it was like through their eyes, not having a dad there.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and my dad was at home, like I always say, he was in the house and stuff, and he maybe, like, growing up, you know, I'm watching, like, a lot of TV, and you see all these TV dads and what they're supposed to be, and you start painting this picture, and, like, my dad's not like that, and wishing for that, but seeing my friends and how they were always so grateful, and, you know, how my dad, you know, showed them love and respect, made me appreciate him a whole lot more, and I was so grateful that I had him in my life, and seeing him around and teaching me all these things, and guiding me, and being able just to say that he was present, you know, because I seen what it is for other people whose dad aren't there.
Exactly. That's exactly, where I was going. Because, like I said, same thing, friends that don't have it, and they're great men.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And their moms and whoever raised them did obviously great jobs, and those are the people that I want to be around anyways. But, you know, like you said, your dad showing love, and it just makes it a lot cooler. You know, my dad always treated my friends like one of us, you know what I mean? Like, they're part of the family as well, and I know they appreciated that, and my pops is the man. I can't thank him and love him enough, man. For real.
And that's my goal with my son, man. So that I nothing will bring me more joy than when my son gets older, man, and he just hear how he talks about me.
Yeah.
Which I'm so blessed, being able to be home because I that was my main goal. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be around my kids 24/7.
Sure.
As much as times as possible. That's why like I come here Saturday nights at 9 o'clock to do my show because I need to put my kids to bed and make sure I read them a story, give my kids good night before I hit the road and do my thing. Yeah. They need to know that daddy's there. And so far my son he's 2 or almost 3. He's gonna be 3 in April, but me and him have an incredible bond because I'm with him all day long. Yeah. And he's such a daddy's awesome, boy. Yeah, awesome. And so I'm so grateful and hopefully to see that and trying to teach him, from the things that I didn't learn, and try to build some traits into him. So for you, like, you said, your dad has taught you a lot of things and stuff. What do you think has been like the most important thing or the biggest thing that you learned from your father?
I think like just being appreciative of what I have. So my dad, I was, growing up, like I said, I wasn't a daddy's boy or, right. You know what I mean? I just wanted to play this little tough guy role and, but my dad always made sure that I was good, and I just didn't realize all the things that he was doing for me until I got a little bit older, and I'm starting to be like, damn, like I hope my dad knows how much like I love this dude because I didn't realize until, I was always a pain in the ass, always giving him trouble. I always was a brat. I wanted to do whatever and this and that, but he never made me spoiled. Everything that like if I needed something, food, clothes, he made sure it was there. If I wanted this pair of Jordans, you're going to go work for that. You're either your grades are going to be there. You're going to learn how to save your money from either birthday cards or you can go get a job on the weekend and do something. You know what I mean? He wasn't just like, yeah, here, have it because I love you. You know what I mean? Right. He taught me how to appreciate everything that I have, to go out, work for it, and don't just treat it like, don't take anything for granted, really. So, the biggest thing that I've learned with my relationship with my dad is just to don't take things for granted and be appreciative because I think up until maybe I went to school, when I was in college by myself, realizing I'm like, damn, I actually need my dad for a lot of things, even when I'm away.
Right.
I didn't really realize until then, like how much, I kind of leaned on him and I didn't want to show it because I wanted to be a man and all these other things. But so not taking anything for granted and just being appreciating all the things that I have. I think that's what I learned, from my dad because I didn't realize how much I appreciated what he has given me until, later on down the road. So.
Yeah, no, and I think it's like that for all of us. I remember at one point, man, and I shared this before that when I was growing up, I was really overweight and stuff. And I remember one time, my dad came home and he was drunk and stuff, and he just went in on me, man, like just insulting the hell out of me for being overweight and all these things. And I always remember I went to my mom and I was like, man, I hate this dude. Yeah. And then I remember the next day, he came in to apologize to me and stuff like that. And he what hit me was because he was like, you know what, like whatever I said to you was for your own good, and at the time, the biggest thing everybody needs to know, man, nobody knows how to be a parent. Everybody's learning, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You learning as you go. And I started to, grow and try to pride myself in just understanding people and looking behind, what they really meant, and I think as I got older, I understood that, my dad knew how much I was getting teased in school and all those things, and he was trying to find a way to motivate me or do something to try to take care of that, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't his intention to hurt me or to try to make me feel bad or, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I got what he meant, like, I was saying it for your own good, like, I'm trying to figure something out to help you, get to where you need to be, but, as I got older in the years, me and my dad's relationship has gotten so much better. Like just this morning, man, like yesterday, my car had died. It was the alternator, and I anytime I have cars, my dad's a mechanic, so I know I call up that your dad, Perfect. Like this, that, whatever, and I explained to him and stuff. And this morning he came bright and early to my house and replaced the alternator and stuff like that. He's like, I'm gonna go home, you know what I mean? Like, and he does those things. Like he's there for me. Like I need him, like he's gonna be there. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna take care of my son, make sure he's good. Yep. So those are the things that I've learned to appreciate from my dad and try to teach on to my son and be it and hopefully have a relationship. Now I know you don't have kids yet. Like you said, you mentioned you want to have kids at some point in the future.
One of my biggest goals in life is to be just a great father. So daughter, son, whatever it is, like that's one of my like biggest goals.
So when you get to that point, because even for myself, I know, like I said, since 13, I know I wanted to be a dad and started to think about things that I wanted to teach my kids,
Yeah.
and implement them to try to be there and show them. For you, do you have any ideas of any, like morals, things that you want to try to imply into your children when you have them?
Yeah, I mean, again, same things that my dad kind of passed on to me, making sure that I don't take things for granted. I don't care if, I'm a millionaire. My son or my daughter or whatever is going to have to appreciate what they get. You know what I mean? They're going to have to work for it. There's not going to be, no easy shortcuts, handouts. Obviously, I'm going to try and put them in the best positions for them to succeed. But like I said, my dad made me really understand what it's like to work hard and feel rewarded when that hard work pays off. You know what I mean? So definitely that. To be respectful and not judgmental. You know what I mean? Because I think I was when I was a lot younger. I was the athletic kid, the always in shape, the like good at a lot of things, and and I don't want to say I was a bully because I really never hoped that I put those intentions on somebody. I don't think I was, but I think I didn't really understand that, not everybody's like me and everybody's different. And for example, like you were a little bit overweight and I never really had to deal with that. And kids didn't make fun of me. They wanted to be with me and like me. And I had to learn, not to be judgmental. That was another thing as well. And just kind of, just don't judge a book by its cover and kind of just, take everybody for who they are. So that's another thing. Be respectful. That's just common knowledge that, anybody should be respectful and be treated how you want to be. I've learned that, throughout the years. And just like you said, nobody's ready to be a parent, so you kind of have to adjust as you go. But you got to adjust as you go, because I know my dad, he came over from Italy, so he grew up with way different, morals and upbringings and different ways of going about life when you're a kid than I did. And, technology came into play and all these other things. And, he listens to country music and, I want to be a rapper and a singer and, all these other things. And so I know my dad was kind of just adjusting and just making sure that I was happy and that, that I knew he was there for me, even when I didn't, even when I didn't tell him, I know that you're there for me. He, he made sure that I knew that. And he adjusted. So I see that with a lot of parents, and I think that's just one thing that I want to take into fatherhood as well. It's just all about adjusting and just making sure your kids feel safe and that you're there for them no matter what.
Yeah, no, it's definitely important, and it's just learning. And I'm a very strong believer too, like in a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. You know what I mean? Because not everybody goes through everything, and people may have different tactics. And I say this time and time again, even if you would implement the same playbook that your parents did on you, your child's gonna be completely different because they're a different person. They're gonna handle things differently.
Different society. When I have a child, just everything's gonna be different. So
right, so it definitely takes that. And like you said, you were heavy into sports and stuff like that. So what were your your biggest sports that you were in school?
Baseball. So my first sport was soccer. My dad was a semi-professional soccer player before he got injured. Met my mom. You know how the story goes. So he played soccer, and that was kind of the first sport that he put me into. Obviously, that's the sport that he knows best, that he loves. So my first sport was soccer, and then I started playing baseball. Baseball was huge around here. The Yankees were the best team in all of sports, and we're close to New York, and that obviously played an influence. And soccer wasn't as big as it is now, It wasn't as worldwide over, in Italy or different countries like that. It was awesome, but in America, it wasn't really a big thing.
Right.
So it started off being soccer. It ended up being baseball, but I love basketball as well. So I played throughout high school. I played baseball and basketball, and then I played baseball in college. So my longest, sport career was in baseball, but I'm still hooping today. So.
Once you hoop, you don't stop. It's
man.
So and then not like I said, it takes the village, because I know a big thing in sports is you learn a lot of different things. I mean, you have your coach, you have that influence, and all those things learning. So I mean, for you and going through sports stuff like that, what are some of the takeaways for life that you learn from sports?
Yeah, one is definitely learn how to deal with failure. That's a huge one, and baseball is a game of failure, right? Everybody will say this typical saying, you 3 out of 10 times if you get a hit as a hitter, you're a Hall of Famer, right? And that's 30%. Think about anything else in 30% is usually failing. You know what I'm saying? If your grade is at 30%, it's horrible. But in baseball, you got to live to learn with the failures, move on. So definitely dealing with failure and adversity, man. Adversity. A lot of things come with sports. Injuries, not being the best on the field, not being the best on the field that day, or like, being the best on the field and then not performing. And then, you feel like, the team is on your shoulders. And when you can't bring that team to a win, it just, everything comes down on you and you feel like shit. And, so definitely adversity. I've learned a lot through that. And, with baseball, it was just a lot of mental games. So get the mind strong, you know what I'm saying? That definitely helped me. And, just staying dedicated because, you could see, especially in sports, when you put the work in, it pays off.
Yeah.
So I've learned throughout my sports, all the practice that I've put in, if I put in the amount of hours I did on a basketball court, or baseball court, and, music even, for example. I put my hours in for music, but not like I did when I was, when I was playing sports. You couldn't get me out the gym. When the lights came off on the streets, I was still out there shooting. So I learned that, just putting in that work can get you the rewards, but it may not get you it as soon as you think. So you got to be patient. There's so much that sports has taught me, and I encourage everybody. And when I have my kids, as we keep talking about, I'm definitely gonna, I'm not gonna force them to do anything.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna obviously, try and instill sports because it's not just, people say it's just a game. It is, but you learn a lot from it. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And it could be a career for some people. So, I wouldn't take any of my sports backgrounds back for anything. So.
And they talk about, it's just a game, but these guys getting paid top dollar.
These dudes are providing for their family. It is a game. And when you're in those mental battles, you got to think, it's just a game. But at the same time, is it just a game for these kids that come from nothing and they have an opportunity to make it to the NFL and the NBA and all these places? It's not really just a game to them. You know what I mean? Like that's how their family's gonna eat. That's their ticket. People really be like, that's the ticket. And it's amazing that, somebody can play a game that they love, put all those hours in, and to have it pay off like that. It's like sports is where the unthinkable can happen. You know what I mean? So
definitely,
it's amazing to me.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing too. Like with my daughter, trying to get her into there, was one of the toughest times is she was like, I want to play soccer. She was like all up into soccer. So I was like, all right, cool. So we got her into soccer and stuff, and she was out there playing, but and it's something I got to stick with her too. But if she can get the ball, she get upset and take all these fits and these tantrums. It's just like, man, like, and it's, I'm because there was some other kids. There was this other kid out there on the soccer field, man. Kid was like 5 years old. Cause I was like 5 years old. My daughter was like 5. And this dude was like 3 something, but he was burning circles out there, man. I'm looking, I'm like, yo, this kid is a beast, man.
Some kids just got it right off the rip.
And you kind of, just as a parent, you're like, damn, what about my kid? You try to figure out, but my daughter's into different things. You know what I mean? Like she loves swimming, so we got her into swimming now. So she's doing that, and I definitely, like you said, I want to get her involved into sports. Her and my son, to get out there because I wish I'd done more sports, in school, and I wish I would have played basketball because I love playing basketball myself too. I didn't play in school because I had to go work and stuff, help the family out and things like that. But that also taught me different things at a very young age too. Exactly. I remember like my mom was one of those things too. I remember she was up until a certain point, man. Any video game that I wanted, I had. I had the Nintendo, all of them, right? Yeah. So when the Xbox came out, I was like, yo, mom, I want the Xbox. She was like, wait, you 15, get a job. Yeah. I was like, what?
Right.
So, whatever. So I was like, all right, I went and got a job, and I will never forget him. And I was working. It was called Growing to Feet in the Stamford Mall. And they also had like a Hello Kitty store like next door. So it was like kind of 2 in 1. I was working in both places and stuff. And I worked a couple weeks and got my paycheck, man. I went to go to EB Games, and I was like, word, let me get the Xbox. I was like, yeah, that's gonna be $300 something. I was like, that's my whole check. Like, I don't even know if I want to, like, do I even want it anymore? Yeah, like, right? I just say, but that again, like,
it's a learning lesson.
They taught me that, and, appreciating that, like, now, and that's something that too, like, I try to teach my daughter, like, what it is to know what it is to value things that you have.
Exactly.
And be grateful. That's one of the things too. Like every night, right before we go to bed, like, all right, we go to me and my wife, to my daughter, like, all right, what are you grateful for today? Like, something that's today that you're grateful for, and she knows that every night, and she starts saying things to get her accustomed to being grateful and appreciating the things that you have.
That's awesome.
Because, like, me and my family, I'm the youngest from my mom, right? And the thing with me though is that my mom had 2 miscarriages before she had me, and then when she was pregnant with me, the doctor was like, "You're either gonna have an abortion or you're gonna die during labor. So one of y'all gotta go, pretty much, And she's like, "Well, we're gonna see what happens." You know what I mean? Yeah. So she always says that too, like I'm her miracle baby, and I know like my family has always. And that's some of the guys too. Like they always put a lot on my shoulders, like they ever since they're like, yo, Freddie's gonna be the one that's gonna be successful, and he's gonna be the one to do this and do all that stuff. So they've always taken care of me immensely. You just say that I was spoiled. They say everybody says I'm spoiled. I say I'm very well taken care of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good way to look at it.
And that's transitioning to my kids, which I knew was gonna happen. Like with my daughter and like with my car. Actually, like my alternator went down. I was like, how am I gonna pay for this? My mom was like, I'll buy you the alternator. Your dad will install it. Because my grandbabies can't be without a car.
Yeah.
Not even you. My grandbabies can't be without a car.
Yeah.
My sister picked up my niece yesterday. Well, she works at the school at Rogers. So I had to, because my car died, I had her, bring my daughter home.
Yeah.
So she got in the car, and I guess my daughter was like, oh, my feet, my sneakers hurt my feet and this, that, or whatever. So my sister just texted me today, like, yeah, what size is Nyla? And I'm like, I know she's going to buy her sneakers.
Perfect.
You know what I mean?
Taking care of,
and I apprate that. I'm not taking it for granted, but I let her know, like, hey, be thankful for all this is going on, because nobody got to do this for you. They do this because they love you, and they looking after you. So be appreciative and be grateful. So she understands that now, and she's turning 6.
Yeah. Nah, it's huge. It's huge because, like I was saying before, like, I don't think I really understood that, all those things. Somebody's getting me for something. I'm like, cool, this is what they're supposed to do when I'm younger. You know what I'm saying? Or, like, I'm expecting all these things when I'm younger. And then, just like I said, all the things that my dad did, I was like, all right, I got to work for this now. And then when you get it, it's rewarding. And, like, I love that feeling. Let me go work a little bit harder to get something else I want. Kind of thing. So exactly what you were saying is kind of tying back into how I was raised too. So it's amazing to see the things that the effect it could have on us kids.
Yeah, definitely, and you always wonder if you're doing right by your kids and stuff, and you're always second guessing yourself as a parent, and my biggest joy for myself, and every single time, is that when people talk about my daughter, like, oh, she's so respectful, and she wants to be so helpful, and she's so kind and caring, and she's sweet. I'm like, that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried if she could recite the alphabet, or if she could do math super fast, or if she could jump. No, she's a great person. Like, that's my ultimate goal. I want them to be great people.
Yeah.
Because like so much going on in this world, especially now, is that we need more of that. People who genuinely just care.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, and just want to be there and loving, and not creating all the separation, and kind of like just going on top, like just coming in now, like, and just touching on, like, on the doors, like, if you're fully vaccinated, no mask. If you're unvaccinated, you need to wear a mask. And it's like segregation just happened like 50 years ago. Like, we coming right back into this shit again.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like it's a never-ending thing, to be honest. Whether it's actual segregation or I don't like to get really into politics.
Yeah.
I hate. I don't look enough into it, and I don't want to stress myself out about it. But it's always something, and I feel like there's so many hidden agendas that we probably have no idea what's going on. So it's like at this point, like what can we do at times,
And then that's why I focus, like, on my kids, is to be great people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be genuinely good, caring people. Don't worry about, what's happening,
There's
what people
things
look
that
like.
are out of your control.
Right.
There's things that are out of your control.
Just be kind, loving, sweet to anybody and everybody. As long as you that, man, you'll go far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I want to focus on them. And we kind of going all over the place in time back and stuff, but I know, like, you said going from sports, and now you're focusing a lot more on the music. So how long have you been into the music thing, or how's that been a passion in the back, or like when did you get into that?
Yeah, so I love music, like, since I was very, very young. Always was headphones on kind of person, especially when I was at home. For whatever reason, I loved music. I loved the way it made me feel, you know what I mean, the energy it gave me. So I used to, write poems and my own little raps, and then of course I saw 8 Mile and I'm like, oh, this could actually happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like a huge, as a white person trying to, I don't like the term rapper. I prefer like artist.
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel like rapper, you kind of get put in this box and like people start assuming like what you may be talking about or what you're trying to portray. And for whatever reason, some people like, oh, you're a rapper. Like, I don't know. It just gives me a weird, but anyways, back to the 8 Mile, like that's like, for me especially, like you see that and you're like, wow, this is dope. So, I started writing my own raps and this and that. And like I said, my dad listened to, all this country. He actually just wanted me to stay away from rap because, as a typical parent, especially in those day and age when all of it was coming out, all the nonsense. And he's like, I don't want you listening to this. My mom loved it. So my mom was like, my mom loved it. She was all for it. And she's like, my dad was like the super, like, I want to say strict, like making sure everything's like, working properly and it's got to be this way. And my mom's just like, yeah, if you like it, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want a CD? Cool. So my first rap CD was Nelly Country Grammar. My mom got it for me. We hid it from my dad for like a month until he saw it in my, So, and he really couldn't, my dad has learned to just love me and realize that, like, I haven't changed because, I'm still a good person, the person that he wanted me to be, kind of, you know what I mean? I still have all those values, no matter whether I'm listening to rap or country. It doesn't really matter. Like, at first, he hated that I had tattoos. But, it didn't change me. So he kind of accepted it. And, I'm also becoming a man, so I make my own decisions at a certain point in time. But the music. I just always been into it. And to be honest, like I said, I was just always writing some stuff and I was super creative. I always liked to draw, so I was always into art. I was always doing something that was either, something artistic.
Right.
And so my boy, who you also know, Ant Scat, I became cool with his little cousin, one of my best friends, Dill. And I was going over to his house. He was making beats at the time. They put a microphone in, they were making songs, and I'm kind of just sitting there in the background, like, I never wrote a rap before. I'm just like, oh, yeah, this is dope. So one day I finally, like, got the courage, and I was like, yo, can I write, for, like, maybe get on a track with you guys? They were older, so, like, I'm looking up to these dudes, and they were like, yeah, sure. So, I'm used to writing, so I wrote, and I recorded my verse, and they're like, what the fuck? This shit's fire, this and that. Yeah. And I kind of like, I was like, all right, cool. Like, my everything, like, it's accepted. You know what I mean? Like, I was obviously nervous of putting out, a verse or letting people hear my stuff. And then, everybody liked it. And that obviously is encouraging. So I started to, write a little bit more, make a couple more tracks. And it was just really fun. It was just something to kind of keep us out of trouble and, like, just something to do. And kept me creative. So obviously sports was always like, my eyes were on sports. Like, I wanted to be professional, this, that. That was my main goal. And then obviously when I realized that might not happen, it's probably not going to happen, I started to, put more effort into the music. It was just kind of like a fallback. And I don't want to say like, this is plan B or anything like that, but I just had more time and, I was a little bit more invested because it was growing. I was growing as a person. I was growing as an artist. A lot more people were starting to hear my shit, and they were fucking with it. So I'm like, this is great. Like, I didn't really expect this much love and this much feedback, positive feedback, I should say. So it just kind of grew, like, over time, just really organically, and a lot of people were just appreciating that I was just being me, and I really wasn't trying to put on an image or try to do this and do that and, like, kind of fit in with all the things that were going on. I was just kind of rapping about, like, baseball, for example. And people were like, oh, you made this sound dope, and it's about baseball. Like, people were used to hearing that 50 Cent and all that shit. So it was organically. I just started to fuck with the music more and more, get more and more feedback, and it kind of just pushed me into, like, all right, cool, maybe I could, like, actually do this. If it becomes a career, amazing. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket.
Right.
Although sometimes taking that leap can get you to that next level. So it's a risk that should be taken at times. But at the end of the day, like, I just love music, and whether, it brings me to provide for my family, like, you know, we talked about with the sports and all that, like, that would be amazing. If I could do it for a career, that would be amazing. If not, you know, I don't regret it at all, because I'll probably be right until I'm 50 in the basement and nobody will hear those songs. But, like, I love doing it.
Exactly.
So, back to, like, the main question, it just kind of grew organically. I just kind of, like, was just into it forever, and then just started. It just happened, man. I can't, like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? It just happened.
And like you said, like that too. Like you said, you don't want to call it like Plan B or anything like that. And you know, I know a lot of times that people always say like, oh, you should have a backup plan if Plan A doesn't fail. But then I also heard like say, if you have no Plan B, then you have no choice but to make Plan A work.
That's what I mean. Yeah, sometimes you need to take. Sometimes you need to take that leap. Sometimes you need to quit that job that you're holding on to for security and just put everything into that. And then, like you said, you have no choice but to really make it at that point. Either that or you fail and start over.
Right. But at least you know you gave it your all. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, that's the biggest thing. Exactly. Like, you know, if you start half-assing stuff or not, you know, give it all your attention, then you know you don't know what's gonna happen. Or if you quit too soon or whatever, at least you can say, you know what, I gave it everything that I had and it didn't work out for me. So now at least I don't have to wonder what if.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the biggest thing you want to live with.
It's hard to live with the what ifs.
Yeah.
It's hard to live with them. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll never knock somebody for putting all their eggs in that one basket. And you know what I'm saying? If you think you got it, and then do it. Me personally, I haven't taken that leap yet. I like the, you know, security, and I'm also able to do it how I want to right now. So I feel like I haven't really needed to make that change, because I'm able to still do music when I want to. I have that freedom. I can, you know, go in the studio today, tomorrow, tonight, in the morning. Like, you know, it's not, whenever. So is there more that I think I can be doing to get me to that next level? Probably. You know what I mean? But I'm also, my bad, I'm getting a FaceTime. My girl Bunny. Shout out Jen Bunny. FaceTime you back after. You know, I'm as long as I've been doing the music, like, I'm still new to the industry. So, like, some guidance would be nice. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can always use just a little. You know, I'm not afraid to be like, oh yeah, I would love to have a helping hand, somebody to just be like, yo, I think this will be a little bit better for you. I haven't taken that leap yet, man, to be honest. And I mean, I'm comfortable. I don't really want to put myself in a situation that's going to take away my freedom. Or you hear about all these people who kind of get in bad deals and they can't wait to get out of them and things like that. And nowadays, now is like the easiest time to be independent. Not that it's easy at all,
right?
But if there's a time to kind of do it on your own and maybe just make partnerships instead of actually signing everything, this is the time to do it. So. I'm trying to be like comfortable, and sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone to, you know what I'm saying, make the right moves. But that's just where I'm at with it all right now. And you know, I just started personal training as well, so that's something that I've always been into as well. So I'm trying to balance them both. And you know, that personal training money, because I'm not making money off my music. I'm not monetizing yet.
Right.
And once I got to that point, it'd be a lot easier to just be like, all right, cool, I'm making money off this now. Now I can put my all into it. I'm not there yet, unfortunately. So that backup plan, or not the backup plan, but, you know, the other source of income is helping me invest into the music. So you need it, you know, you kind of need it. And sometimes people get stuck without it when they try and put their all in. So that's just where I'm at. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that you're wrong for doing this. This is where I'm at. I'm comfortable with making that income and investing it. You know, I also have bills. I got my own house. You know, all these other things that I want to provide for. So to try and just sit there and try to monetize my music while having all these other needs or maybe wants, like, I just need that other source of income, and that's where I'm at with the music. You know,
absolutely.
Ties all in.
Cause like it was it's just funny that you said that, because actually just before, you know, and even a couple episodes ago when I sat down with Carl and stuff, and he had brought that up, like, you know, use your job as your number one investor. Actually. You know, and I've done that too. Like when I started my whole T-shirt thing, you know what I mean? Like I went in there, I said, you know what? I didn't have much of a choice because I got laid off from my job. They bought us out and they laid everybody off. You know what I mean? So I had no choice but I was like, you know, let me go into this T-shirt thing and do it. And it's been great, you know what I mean? I've been able to do that and stuff like that. But now that I got kids and, you know, more and more bills and stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? I need to get back in the field. So I'm getting back to work again.
For sure.
But now I have a whole different mindset. You know, I have a whole different goal of what I'm going to use that income for and how I'm going to be able to branch off and do my own thing and stuff. So like we saying going into the whole music thing and stuff like that, I want to play your new track. I know you just dropped me one too. You know what I'm saying? It's called Too Much, right? So give us a little feedback on that.
It's actually unreleased. So I haven't dropped it yet. I wanted to give you some unreleased, and it's a newer feel, a newer vibe that I've been going towards. I've been experimenting a lot recently, man. I've been music. During the quarantine, man, I was stressing. Music brought me a lot of anxiety. Like, definitely, mental health is a huge thing. Not afraid to talk about it. I've been dealing with, you know what I'm saying, my own fair share of problems, anxiety, all that shit. But music, like all I had during the quarantine was really my music and video games. I was on fucking Call of Duty with my boys, or I was making music. And I was actually injured at the time, so I couldn't work out, which is a huge part of my daily routine. So I couldn't do that. So everything I was doing with my music, I was just stressing way too much. Everything had to be perfect. That's just the kind of person I am. I'm a perfectionist, and I was stressing everything, and it was just bringing a lot of anxiety into my music. And I'm still trying to get over it because it fucked me up. Because I was putting so much goddamn pressure on my music that, like, I started to, like, not like doing it at a certain point in time. And I looked at it and I was like, yo, I feel like I'm going in here and doing homework. Yeah. When it should feel like recess. Right. You know what I'm saying? I want to go in and have fun. And I just want to be able to create and not have to feel like I'm forcing anything. So these newer vibes, I don't think I put a lot out that sounds like this Too Much song, and that's the reason I wanted to send it to you, play it. Obviously, I wanted your feedback. I feel like I'm creating and I'm experimenting a little bit more with a different sound. That's where I'm at. So I'm trying to find that, you know, that creative freedom again, and I don't want to stress when I get in the studio, man. For real, I just want to let it be free, and however it feels and whoever takes it. Some people are gonna like it, some people don't. I don't care because I'm really fucking with the new music that I'm making. So this is unreleased, but it's one of those newer vibes that I'm going towards. So
I will appreciate. Well, we're gonna drop that right now. Let's let it run right now.
I've been doing what I want too much. Try to put you on, but you was worried about your own too much. You was worried about your own, yeah. I've been doing what I want too much. Said I try to put you on, but you was worried about your own too much. You was worried about your own too much. 100 on the dash in my mind, I'm racing. And baby, if I crash, I just hope it's your place. And I'm getting overwhelmed, I ain't even get famous. Cause I get spotted everywhere, I'm like a Dalmatian. Fake handshakes and a fake relations. Why you think I'm always trying to book a vacation? I can smell the bullshit, it's not my fragrance. I prefer the lavender whenever I'm anxious. Whenever I'm anxious, always anxious. Starting to lose patience, losing my patience. You should go and get your attitude braces. Cause damn girl, it need to be straightened. If you give it, I'll take it. I just need a location. I just need a little love, red wine, and a Drizzy playlist on rotation. I've been doing what I want too much. Try to put you on, but you was worried about your own too much. You was worried about your own, yeah. I've been doing what I want too much. Said I try to put you on, but you was worried about your own too much. You was worried about your own too much. I've been on the way like a jet ski, yeah. Model chick said she glad that she met me. Know the ex ones mad that they let me. I bring them all together and get down if they let me. If they let me, but man, they would never. Better chance of getting free dance at 11. Shit, we threw like 3 bands at 11. No ones, that ain't even what we spend for the session, yeah. Sheesh. Like damn, what do we owe? Vibes on 100, bottles on Frio. Pouring up the casa, I'm with all of my amigos. Look around the club, like damn, where did she go? Like damn, what a night we had. And damn, this life ain't bad. And damn, I've been on the path to peace, but my friend like fuck all that. I've been doing what I want, yeah. Said I've been doing what I want, yeah. And I try to put you on, but you was worried about your own. I've been doing what I want, yeah. Said I've been doing what I want, yeah. And I try to put you on, yeah. But you was worried about your own. I've been doing what I want too much. Try to put you on, but you was worried about your own too much. You was worried about your own, yeah. I've been doing what I want too much. Said I try to put you on, but you was worried about your own too much. You was worried about your own too much.
I'll give it up, man. It was, yo, you sent it to me, right? So I was like, all right, cool. Let me see what this is, and I played it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm always a fan, just like chill, mellow. You know what I mean? Like, should relax and stuff like that. Like, I'm just, that's just my type of music.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, especially now, things that make sense, to have a message, as you just talking about things, getting things on your chest. Like, I feel like I'm getting old saying this, man, but now most of this new music that I be hearing on the radio, I don't even listen to the radio like that, man. Like, because I can't vibe with it.
Yeah,
I can't vibe with it. You know what I mean? Like, so I've always been one of those, like, the storytellers. I've been into poetry, because I think, like, that's what it comes to, like, rap or hip hop and stuff like that. It's poetry, man. Yeah. It's a flow, it's a story, and things are going on. So it's definitely an ill vibe. I'm really feeling that jam. I know I plus sent it to Carl too, and I sent it to him. I was like, yo, have this ready for the show tonight. And then like a couple minutes later, he was like, yo, this track is fire, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Much love.
Definitely love your track, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, nah, it's a vibe. Like I every time I listen to it, I'm like, damn, this shit. It just make me feel good. And that's what I'm obviously hoping to do for the listener as well. But, I love where I'm going with the music right now, so we'll see. I got a couple more like that. Got a couple more on the way. A couple things in the stash that I'm trying to figure out how I want to drop in video, all that stuff. So I appreciate the love, though. Appreciate the love, man. Thank you.
I gotta play for my daughter, because my daughter loves all this music too, and she.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know what's so crazy, man? Which, sometimes you have trouble motivating yourself. You know what I mean? Like
we talked about that.
You go
earlier,
through that. You try to find to do that. But my daughter is my biggest fan. And she supports me so much. Like I did a couple weeks ago. I hosted this event for Designs by Lee. They was doing an outdoor movie night, and they had me host the costume contest.
Fire.
And there's a little clip that I posted on it, because I didn't catch it, but I was out there, doing my thing and stuff like that. And somebody caught my daughter, and she was like, "That's my dad. That's my dad." And I'm like, "Yeah," she was like, "Yeah."
See, like I can't wait for that as a father, man. That's awesome.
It's crazy. Like,
that's
even
dope.
now, she'll go and we'll meet new people. She's like, "Hi, my name is Nyla Cortez. This is my dad, Freddie Fox, and he has a show and he makes T-shirts and he's really good." And I'm like,
"That's amazing.
I don't need it."
That's amazing. That's how I feel like my mom is with me now. Everywhere I go, yeah, I mean, this is my son. He makes music and this and that, But it's just the love that you share. You know what I'm saying? But it's amazing. I felt like that about my dad too. But I remember it was a point earlier when you said your dad was a mechanic, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, my dad. I feel like my dad is everything for me. Mechanic. Every time I got something wrong with the car, yo, pops, what the hell is this? What is this signal? Yo, I got something wrong in the basement. What is it? Oh, this is what you got to do. And I was just thinking about it, and I meant to bring it up. But it's crazy that, you know what I'm saying, what an impact you can have on your kids or just anybody in general. But, like, you said your dad's a mechanic. Like, I know what my dad does, but I'm like, I think that motherfucker's everything. For me, he was everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's great. It's really amazing. So
yeah, no, and it's crazy to see, man, because, again, as a parent, like, you don't really see, I guess, the impact or like how much your kids really absorb from you.
Yeah.
Until you hear it from others, and you're like, oh man, like that's all me, man. That's coming from the things that I say, things that I like. I felt right. So. Yeah. My daughter was telling me, she was like, Dad, the other day at school, this boy, he was rocking in his chair. And he was rocking, and he fell back, and he hit his head. And I said, "See, I told you." And I was like, "Oh God!" Like, cause every time you're like, "See," like,
that's it.
That's it.
That's hilarious.
Man. Yeah. But no, man. Back to this track, man, and it's fire, man, and definitely, like I said, I listen to a bunch of your other music and stuff like that. And it is a little bit different from what you normally put out.
I think so too.
But I definitely, love where you go with your music and what you do, and then you're very, very talented, man.
Appreciate it.
Just keep at it, man. You're gonna get to that point and be successful and stuff, be in the grind, But like we said, we got bills to pay and take care of, man. But you are very, very good at your craft, man.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate
keep doing that, man.
I appreciate you.
So I know we kind of winding down, man. So I got two last questions for you as we wrap it up here.
Yes, sir.
So my very first question to you, man. In your life, man, what do you feel has been the best advice you've ever received?
Damn, I don't know. That's hard. Best advice? Shit. I mean, there's probably so many moments that I'll think of as soon as I leave and be like, damn, that's what I should have said. You know how that goes. The first one, right off the top of my head, I actually, so it was my sophomore year, and my coach went through this whole thing. The NCAA be, on the coach's asses for a reason. He couldn't coach us for that specific year. So my assistant coach stepped up. And for a lot of us, it was kind of like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the assistant coach, sometimes they don't get the respect they deserve kind of thing. There was this one speech, he was just hyping us up. And he said, attitude, energy, and effort. Those are 3 things that we can control. And he goes, just focus on that and we'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? I think we were getting some bad calls from the umps or whatever the case was. And, you know, he got us fired up, and that shit stuck with me forever because it's not just about baseball. I mean, it was perfect for that game. But attitude, energy, and effort, that's what you can control. I mean, I'm like, I think about that still, you know, all the time. And I'm like, damn, if your attitude towards this, positive, it'll, positive outcome, hopefully. But your attitude, your energy, your effort, if you just focus on those things, and put all those things into, what you're trying to do, fatherhood, music, whatever the case may be, you live with the results, but, they should be good and no what ifs, you know what I mean? And we said before, there's a lot of things that are out of our control, especially in this world today. So, you kind of just got to focus on the things that you can control, and those are 3 main things. So that stuck with me. That stuck with me for a long time. Shout out Coach Cole.
No, that's deep, man.
Attitude, energy, and effort. He said it, and I was just in the middle of the game, and I'm like, "That's fucking fire." Can I curse on that? Yeah. Cool. I didn't know. I didn't know. Like, I was thinking, and you were like, "I know you're my daughter watches the show," and I'm like, "Shit, I hope she not like." But yeah, man, that stuck with me, and I still think about it. So, like I said, there's probably a million different times the advice, but like, I don't know. That was the first one that came to mind.
No, man, that's some powerful stuff because I think a lot of people, and I think I posted on it today and stuff. It's easy to blame others, you know what I mean? Like, it's just scapegoat and stuff. You're like, oh, sure. I didn't do this because of this person, or I just didn't get that, whatever. But like, what stopped you from taking your life into your own hands?
Yeah, sometimes you gotta just look internally and then go from there.
And then that's been a lot of like development for myself, like over these last couple of years ago. And I know you touched on it a little bit too, but I know for myself, like just a lot of depression and anxiety and all these things, and a lot of that comes from what ifs. Some of that things come from as well things that I think sit back now and look back as like, I could have changed that situation if I really put in the right energy. I'm saying put in the effort and had the right attitude. Yep. I would have been able to put that into my favor, but I chose to be negative.
Exactly.
Or anything like that. And that's even now, like with my daughter. And I always say this because again, I'm trying to guide them in the right path and things that I do with her. But she'll come to school and she'll say, "Oh, this happens." Like, don't talk about the bad that happened at school. Yeah. Like, don't focus on the negative things. You're quick to bring up the bad things that happen. Just let it go.
That's what society, I feel like, teaches us. Man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's just everything is always just, negativity sells, and that's what I'm trying to teach you is different, is just really focus on the positive and really have the right vibes and the right mentality and things like that to a believer in the law of attraction or the law of the universe. Think good things and good things happen. You know what I mean? That's what you can control. Yeah. And that's what's in your hands. So lastly, then my last question for you is while we wrap this up is, looking back on younger generation or people coming after us, what's one piece of advice you would like to give to them?
Be yourself, be unique. It sounds super cliche, but just like I was saying, like I wouldn't force my kids to be anything, you know what I mean, or to play sports or whatever. You kind of just have to let them, let somebody, especially the younger generation coming up, because it's one is difficult times now, and I feel like there will be something difficult when I have a kid, and that's just how the world happens, but it's not easy as a kid growing up, and right. A lot of things change very quickly. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, when you're 18 and you go to school, like, they make you like pick your major and like this is what you want to do. And like, I picked accounting because my dad was an accountant at the time. I fucking hate accounting. I hate that shit. I will never sit behind a desk. I personally can't do it.
Right.
I have too much anxiety to sit behind a desk all day. Like, I'm an anxious ass person. I like being on the move. I like going. You know what I mean? I can't do it. So I chose accounting because I thought that, I could make a lot of money, and, my dad does it, and, like, everybody's always going to need an accountant, and, like, the whole business aspect of everything, like, business is always going to be around. That's one thing that, we're always gonna need to kind of keep society going. And I was like, I could branch off, but like I picked accounting. Like I hate that shit, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I just started personal training, right? I've always been into fitness, always been into all that shit. I'm 28. I'm just starting to feel like, okay, I could really make this personal training a career that I really love, you know. So be yourself. Don't let nobody force you into anything. You know, whatever you like, and you just kind of got to be happy at the end of the day because. Like I said, I'm in these accounting classes. I'm like, this shit's miserable, and I'm not happy. And like, I probably would have learned a lot more if I was in like kinesiology, learning about the human body and the studies because I'm into the gym, I'm into sports and shit like that. And maybe I could have been doing this personal training a long time ago, and maybe have my own company by now. But you know, I kind of like just took the route of like, this is what I think I want to do, and this is what I feel like is right. So, you know, just find whatever makes you happy, and you got to do it. Another example, like everybody, it has been a big thing, but specifically I follow it because Dwayne Wade is my favorite player. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen, like, you know, with his son.
Yeah.
Like, it was a huge deal. It was a huge deal, and a lot of people had negative things to say, a lot of people positive, but, like, I watched a lot of interviews with him in it, and, like, just to see, you know, the way he responded as a father, and, like, you could see how that impacted his son or daughter, whatever it is, you know, whatever he goes by now.
Yeah.
But like it's crazy, and he's so comfortable, and he's just doing all the things that, like, you know, he's wanted to do, and like to be that strong at a young age, and like finally find some comfort. And now I feel like he can just move forward and just be himself. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have to feel forced. So that's probably the first thing that came to mind was that, because I've been through it too. You know.
Yeah, no, and like you say, like it may sound cliche, and yeah, a lot of people have said the same thing, but it's so important because again, like you know, especially us growing up, we were always like, hey, this is what it has to be, it's what you need to do, and never really, and that's for me, like again, why I know like I suffered most of my depression, anxiety, and all that stuff because I always had this feeling like it was not okay to be who I wanted to be.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Because people are either gonna poke fun at you or maybe this, that, or it's not cool, it's not gonna make money, so you start to tear yourself apart, you know what I mean, and try to be somebody that you don't want to be. You know, I think it's Jim Carrey said, you know, when depression is your body telling you it's sick of playing this character.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's fire. I mean? And I was like, wow, you know, like, and as the more I looked into it, I was like, yeah, that's what this is. Like, I'm just so tired of being what everybody else wants me to be or trying to appease everybody else that I'm so miserable and depressed. Like I lost who I am. Like I don't even know who I am anymore. Mm-hmm. You know?
And that's And go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's like with my daughter too. How I like, you know, ever since she was a little kid, she was listening to shows in Chinese or Mandarin or doing this or whatever. Like I just sit her and watch like what she likes to do and just encourage her to do that. Like just have fun with it. You know what I mean? Like just go, because it's so important to know who you are. Like you said, like at a very early age will make the rest of your life so much easier.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And yeah, it's crazy. Be yourself, man. Like I said, like if you're not happy doing what you're doing, then I mean, you know, I understand there's that providing aspect that we talked about, and like, you know, when it comes down to that, but like if you can find what makes you happy, or at least a little bit of happiness, you know, like, you know, you just gotta be yourself, and then be unique too. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I've learned and wanted to like kind of preach and show in my music, that like, you know, I never tried to be anybody that I wasn't. I think that's why a lot of, you know, my fans or followers, they like me a little bit more. I'm not trying to pretend like I don't, you know, talk about all these chains and like go rent them for, you know, my videos or nothing like that. My videos are pretty simple. It's just like what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like I'm not renting like Lamborghinis and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, like I'm probably going to see them out downtown at Hudson if I go out to the bar, and they're going to be like, I thought you was just in a private jet.
You know what I mean? Like,
now you downtown with me doing the same shit that I'm doing. So it's like, you know, I ain't there yet. When I'm there and I own my shit, you'll see me. But you know, that unique part of especially doing what I do, I feel like is huge, you know, to get the fans and the followers. But yeah, man, be yourself, because that mental health is real, man. I really never experienced it until the quarantine kind of really like started to hit me, and I never, you know, like I said before, like the athlete kind of thing, like I never really had much to worry about, and I never really understood. Not that I ever knocked it, but I just never understood it until you go through it.
Right.
And that shit's real, bro. It's scary. It's a scary thing, and with that attitude, energy, effort, like I'm learning how to control, you know, anxious thoughts and things like that, and feeling low. I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Like, for what? You know, I have all these other people that love me, counting on me, kind of thing. So you just gotta just change the mindset a little bit, man. But and like I said before, helping hand, man. It's not like you shouldn't be ashamed to ask for help.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't be ashamed to ask for help.
Absolutely not, man.
At all.
So, you know, definitely, like I said, like, I love what you're doing in music. Again, like, you definitely are unique. Because, like I said, I can't listen to music nowadays on the radio because I don't know who sings what. Like, everybody, so they all sound the same.
Yeah,
like,
I hear you.
They all sound the same.
I know. Like, I've had these conversations with a lot of people, and, like, I don't want to knock any artist because everybody has something that makes them them.
Right.
And it's kind of cool to listen to some. I mean, like, do I like it? Not really. It's kind of cool to see how, like, they've kind of changed the music or how they approach it rather than, like, the way maybe I approach it or the way, like, Nas approached it, something. You know, there's always adjustments and changes that are made, but it's kind of cool to kind of look at it, and I don't ever want to, like, knock somebody. You know, art, like, it's art. You know, there's not really anything wrong in art.
Right.
So, like, music is all preference, bro. Like, I'm the same with you. Like, I can only listen to a handful of it before I got to go back to, like, I need some concept. You know what I'm saying? When I'm listening to music, I need to be like, word, I can relate to that. Or, you know, like, let me run that back and see what he was really trying to say with this, rather than just, like, the same like, a lot of it is just the same shit. And sometimes it's cool, and there's different opportunities and situations where I want to listen to different kind of music. But I'm the same as you. I can't listen to too much of it, but it's where we at. That's where we at. You got to make the adjustments. So.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Well, you know, I really, really appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Much love, man. I had a great time.
Well, thank you. We'll
Appreciate
catch up some
it.
more soon, man. And as
Absolutely.
everybody, like I always tell you, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, your big brother loves you. Stay blessed, everybody.
That's it, man. Yeah. And you just don't know yet.